Welcome to Colorful Journeys of Success. Claire Mullen, producer, host, and author of Color Wheeling for Success, explores with her guests the stages of success in their lives. This show highlights leaders, teachers, coaches, mentors, and even parents who are role models who help change our world. How have you succeeded, and who was your teacher and inspiration? Now, who are the people you teach and inspire? Listen to and watch our fascinating guests as they share colorful stories of success and how they help inspire. Now, here's Claire, the color wheeling lady and our host.
Welcome to Colorful Journey of Success. I'm so glad that you joined us because we're going to have a very exciting show today. In fact, we have a little surprise for you today. It's kind of a surprise for me too because a special guest today is, her name is Linda Price. She is she's an internet, I can't even remember all of the titles she has, but she is a professional coach in business, international area, in many areas. In fact, I'm going to have her introduce herself a little better than I'm not doing a very good job. But listen to our show and you'll learn more about coaching. I don't know whether you've ever even thought of having a coach help you. Or maybe you do. Maybe you have one right now. Maybe you're not happy with your coach. Maybe you'd like to switch. Well, she's a professional. She knows what has to be, and we're going to talk about what is coaching, and we may even give you a little demonstration of how the coach session would work. So it's my pleasure to introduce Linda Price. Linda.
Hi, Claire. Thank you. To give you a little bit of background about myself, I'm the president of Professional Dynamics International, and we are a Silicon Valley-based organization that provides communication, actually organizational communications and management skills for people in the Valley. We provide coaching and consulting, and we travel internationally to various places all over the world and provide these skills. I know some people have asked me what I do, and I say, well, I provide sex.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I know it is, and it kind of gets their attention, and it merely means skills for engineers to excel.
Oh,
so kind of versatile, but nevertheless, it is. It's for skills for engineers to excel, and by that I mean it could be an engineer or anyone in the organization actually who has been put in a position of management. Maybe they've gone from an individual contributor to a manager. And as such, they perhaps don't have all of the management skills that are necessary. So rather than setting them up for failure, they'll ask me to come in and I'll work with that person one-on-one to coach them on the various aspects that would be needed to be effective in making that transition. Also, I deal with communication issues in the organization. Very often there's conflict. Provide them ways on how to resolve that more effectively, because the whole bottom line is that they want people to be productive and the best they can be, and that's my goal.
That's your
I want them to be successful.
Your specialty.
Yes.
Right. Right. And that is really the goal that every coach should have, right?
I think they do. If you're being a coach, a mentor, and a manager who is helping a person go from step A to step B, they're in a coaching role. They're doing that, and they're doing it primarily for the fact that they want the person to be successful. I don't think anyone wants another person not to be.
Well, I have a lot of friends, and some of them actually are coaches. And some of them have used coaches, and so I'm very familiar with the process. And a lot of people are not, though. And I think there's tremendous benefits to have a coach, because we all need a help. Just imagine you're on a football team. Don't you need a coach?
Exactly.
Don't you? Really, a coach?
I don't think you could do it. The
right.
team wouldn't be a team without the coach behind the scenes giving them the information that they need, and that's what it's all about.
And for people that really are not that familiar, maybe with this is maybe a new concept to them. Can you give us an idea of what should a person expect from a coach?
Well, a coach clearly doesn't have all the answers to everything, that's for sure, and they may say if you and I were in a situation, I were coaching you and you came into an area and you were asking me certain questions about that, I may tell you, that's not my area, but I can perhaps put you in touch with someone that could help you out.
So a referral.
Oh, absolutely, referral.
Right.
Yes.
And I think that's fair. I think a coach that says, yes, I can do it all, is not really being totally honest.
Probably not.
And they're not really being your friend.
Right.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I know that it's pretty easy to go online, just Google coach, success coach, life coach, personal coach, a lot of different coaches.
Right. I'm an executive team building coach, and I think the success coach part of it is, I think anyone who gets into the coaching role and takes that on as a profession is really interested in success. So they could put a dash success coach beside their name.
Well, Colorful Journey of Success, this whole show is all based on people that help other people succeed.
Right, and for that, we're going to turn the tables a bit. And what I'm going to do is I am going to let you share with everyone what this is all about. When you and I talked about the journey of success, I thought this is really very, very interesting. And the fact that it came about as a personal situation for you, stemming out of a brain trauma, I thought this is incredible. So why don't we get right into it and tell us a little bit how all this came about. Tell us a little bit of the background.
Okay, so, well, just to make sure that we clarify what we're doing here.
Right.
And usually I'm the host and I'm asking the questions.
We're turning the tables. We're turning the tables.
We're going to do a little demonstration on how coach works with a client, right?
Yes.
Well, usually when I'm ever learning something, I always make notes. So.
And I do suggest people bring a notebook.
I brought my notepad here, and I'm ready.
Good. There might be that nugget of information you'll want to remember.
Need to put my glasses on here now. I'll do my best in answering and working with. Because actually, a thought about that is talk about how is the most effective way a client can work with a coach. What makes it the easiest for you to coach a person?
Well, what makes it easy for me is when the person is clearly motivated to look at what's not working and have that openness and willingness to at least examine the options that are available rather than staying stuck and doing the same thing over and over again that's just not working.
Okay.
So I think that makes it a very worthwhile situation. It's a good give and take there because everything you do in a coaching situation is confidential. Even when I work in industry, I let the president or the VP of HR, whoever, know that the information that we discuss is confidential. Now, what I do sometimes is roll that up and give an overview as an update or a status to the manager. But primarily, we work, in a confidential situation, and I think a person feels more willing to disclose information as a result of that.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you have a particular format? And when you start a session?
Actually, no. It just depends on the situation. It could be any number of things. But I very often ask them, just tell me a little bit about what's going on.
Okay.
Tell me where you are right now. And so I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'm going to say, okay, Claire, I've just learned about the journeys of success. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, that's such a wide open question.
And
could you be more specific?
Well, I could be, but if I do that, then I might be avoiding a lot of good information that may not be that you might want to tell me. So I'll be a little bit more specific, and I'll say, how did it begin? Where did it all come from? The concept.
All right.
Tell me about
the
that.
story. And well, it's a very interesting story because actually I think it was a blessing in disguise. I never dreamed I would be doing what I'm doing right now. But one beautiful day I decided to go to the gym, and I was taking a shower, and all of a sudden a shower head flew off the pipe and struck me in the head, and I sustained what is referred to as a traumatic brain injury, TBI. And my life instantly changed. And I guess I don't need my glasses for this.
No, this is the story.
But basically I became pretty dysfunctional. And I had to kind of start all over again.
So you were hospitalized and...
Well, in a way, they didn't really hospitalize me. what I think maybe they should have. But this is what I feel is so important right now with the military, with the troops coming back from Iraq, and when the bombs explode next to their head, they sustain what is called TBI, traumatic brain injury. It's referred to as the signature injury of the war.
So you look good on the outside, but inside in the head, it's
That's right. Things are scrambled because what
Yeah.
happens with the brain is depending on where it's hit, and they say that the most common accident is a car accident, whiplash accident, and that can cause also TBI. So-
I have a situation where my cousin, it happened to her, and she was hospitalized for a good number of months, and they just didn't give her any hope at all, and she walked away with some vision impairment, but also the TBI you're talking about, and that was sad. But I mean, it's remarkable the recovery that she has, and I just wish I had known this when she was going through this, because I would have certainly shared this with her and gotten her in touch with you. So
Well,
okay.
that would have been wonderful. Well, I have learned over the years. I have learned that the mind, if the brain is a muscle, and it can be developed just like an arm or a leg. You know, the muscles in your arms.
Right.
So I literally trained my brain. Bit by bit by bit. I challenged myself in every single class I could take, everything that I could. I've actually gotten a degree in psychology since the injury. I've accomplished more because I've been so focused, and I've stumbled and challenged, but I'm so determined.
Well, you see, there's a lot of passion around this.
Oh, yes.
I don't know whether I could do that or not, but it's so exciting. So let's get into
Well,
this and tell me a
okay.
little bit about it.
All
So you brought the board.
Yes, I
Planning-
did. This is my storyboard.
Planning for Success. Okay, let's take a look at this.
So this is the brochure that I remember the doctor gave to me
Okay.
to help me understand what is traumatic brain injury. And I realize that people will not be able to see all the fine print, but it's the traumatic brain injury, signature injury, and also another process that I used to help myself recover was staying with Toastmasters. So weekly I'd be writing speeches, presenting speeches. I'd be
Exercising that muscle.
exercising that muscle
Yeah.
constantly. So one of my speeches was healing minds and emotions, and I tried to develop a workshop to help people understand how they could, and that was the emotional part of it, and taming the hidden monster, because the hidden monster was that nasty monster inside of me that actually was damaging my life, and I had to close a business. A lot of things happened, but just over the years, I've actually created a whole product line, and it all was based on a color wheel.
So what I'm sensing through all this, you've got a big sign that says "Never give up," and that
Oh,
sounds
yes.
like that would be your mantra through all of this. All right.
well-
So tell me a little bit about the color wheel.
The color wheel, okay, very, very simple. The one day, about 4 years after the accident, that I got to the point of frustration, and I had all of these notes to brush my teeth, take my pills, make my bed, do all the things that were
We just
very
do-
simple.
Yeah.
And I had to kind of retrain myself. So I started highlighting my notes in color. And I started organizing those notes and started putting them in place, in position. And I found that when I started organizing them by color, because the color wheel, the basic color wheel, primary and secondary colors, will never change. So it's a tool, it's a visual tool that I could use, because we live in a world of color, and I can apply the color wherever I am. So because of memory loss and memory problems, I still had my tools wherever I went. Your red shirt, all the colors. So,
The
but
red, the blue.
right, these colors became
Yeah.
my color code for life. So every 6 months now, I create a life plan in my color wheel.
Okay. Now, I hope it's not too personal. Could you walk me through just one segment of that and tell me how it works for you? Like the green, for instance. When you see leaves or when you see something that's green, does it automatically trigger then a response in you to think about that value?
Exactly. It triggers primarily the goal.
Okay.
Because come to my workshop, actually.
Well, I was going to mention that because when we were talking, you said you were having an upcoming workshop this April, actually.
Yes.
April 24th, is it?
I have 2 dates
Okay.
this month.
Okay. And tell me.
And I said, I tell people, don't stress or strain your brain, train your brain.
Stress or strain, go to train. Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
And so also a wheel is every vehicle has to have a wheel to make it turn.
That's true.
And there's a process. And so, but the color has been used very effectively. I now have 8 books in progress.
Wow.
I designed a game board. I designed actually a toolkit
You were a
that is
busy
being
lady.
developed.
Now,
And
is that what they would get in the workshop? Is that part of it?
the toolkit actually is more in a box.
Okay.
And these are just representative of a couple of books.
Okay.
So anyway, but going back to how a person can actually train their brain.
Right. I always say, is it possible to take one color and talk about that?
Yes. All right. What color would you like? Well, let's have the green because I can see it very. Okay.
And that's financial. Green for money.
Right.
Go for
Okay.
it.
Let's see. I wanted to be debt free, with money and savings.
Okay.
I wanted a weekend trip and some nice clothes for that trip. I wanted to join an investment group, find an investment group where I felt comfortable. I wanted to, and I wanted to learn to be more thrifty. So I had very specific goals. And so because I would work through the process of implementing the goals in the action plan, I would then develop a value. So I would become more thrifty if I took certain steps.
Okay, so you value security.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Yes, and definitely a part of that is having financial security, and also part of that then is knowing how to be thrifty and knowing when to spend your money and on what to give you the biggest payoff.
But that was in 1998.
Okay.
Those were the goals in 1998.
So did that work?
Yes, it did.
Wonderful.
Yes, it did.
Okay.
And so, but now my color wheel, I actually carry it in my planner. And I have pictures. We do vision boards. We do acting. We do role playing.
Okay. This would be like a vision board, something like this?
Well, this is more of the storyboard. The vision board that I have has actually the color wheel life plan right in the center. And then in the direction of like a clock, wherever that particular color is, then there's pictures from magazines, and that whole section becomes specific to that particular color and those particular goals. So envisioning is very important.
I think that's great. And I'm listening to you and I'm thinking in terms of how people take in information. And about 50% of our society takes in information one way and 50% the other. And the one way is getting the big picture. They really need a big picture because the little specific things won't make a lot of sense until the big picture is there. The other point is the other way to take in information is that I only want the small points, because if you give me the big picture, it just clouds the issue and I don't need to see it. I'll make my own big picture. So what I'm seeing from this is that you're covering both. You've got a big picture where it all fits in, and then you've got your specifics on how to get there and how to accomplish that. That's good. I mean, you hit 100% of the population. Now, let me ask you something else. How about if a person doesn't necessarily go for the colors? They want to do something else. What would you suggest in place of that? I know you
actually,
like the colors.
The reason I like the colors is because I don't need my glasses.
I can understand that.
But also,
I'm there.
there is a very specific. What happens is the brain, left or right side, will work when they see when they envision things.
And that's a right side activity.
And so I think people will react to color, and because we see colors, if you're looking for numbers around wherever you are, like you'll see a number like an address on a building. But you'll probably see 3 or 4. Now, it's a lot easier to look at the color of that building and connect to that particular goal that's represented in that particular color versus looking at those 3 numbers, which is the address. So it's a lot easier to go for the color.
Well, for me it is, and I can agree with that because I like color. I'm just thinking of the people that I come in contact with, the engineers, and they're all, the numbers and making sure things fit and everything.
Well, let me tell you about engineers, by the way.
Okay.
All right, let me tell you a story about engineers.
Okay. All right.
I gave a workshop at an electronics company one time
Okay.
to some engineers. And you think that engineers are only number oriented? They're not. I know a lot of engineers that are very creative and they love color, but they just don't have the program that uses color. This program would work with them. And so I took these engineers, they were all sitting around the conference table, and I said, we're going to just have some fun. So I put blank sheets out there and with highlighters, and I had them do just a little bit of artwork, and I said, okay, when I clap my hands, pass it to the next person, and then do some artwork on that one. Any color you want. And doesn't matter, you don't have to try and do or copy what the other person did. And every time I clapped my hand, about every 30 seconds, it was going around, and then when they got theirs back, they were very proud. It was fun. It was interactive, it was colorful, and I said, I'd like to take your picture now. So,
Of course, they held it up.
and they all held it up, and they were like children in a kindergarten class, and they were so proud of their little drawing. And I said, well, that's project management in a way. You can work with the colors. Now, this is, in a sense, just a fun game with colors. But now let's talk about how we're going to take those colors and start sorting them out and identifying those colors. They loved it. They absolutely loved it. So maybe you just haven't tried my color wheeling program with them.
That could be. I think I may give that a go. Have you worked with people one-on-one to do this?
Yes, it's primarily that I have worked with one-on-one people, and they love it. They absolutely love it because they stay connected and they want more. They call me back and they want more. So, but you know what? We could talk for hours.
Well, one thing I was going to say is I can see the real value to this, especially for people, like you say, that had a traumatic brain injury. And you mentioned the military. I'll be a wonderful place to start because clearly, unfortunately, we do have a number of people coming back that are in that category. But also, many hospitals have the
well, there's many different
rehab centers.
Right,
Yes.
exactly. And even people that have not had head injuries or don't have any problems, they enjoy it. They enjoy it. So, but I have to kind of like turn this around because you turn the tables on me. Now I'm going to turn the tables back on you because we're running out of time.
Okay.
And so now we did a little demonstration.
And what
in a sense.
Yeah, what I did is, like the beginning of a coaching session, I want to find out about the individual. I want to find out what's working, what's not working, what their passion is, where they see themselves going with this, so that we can start pathing a successful way to get there, or what's standing in the way. Let's get it out of the way or change it to a point where it can work for you. So what you were telling me is sometimes what people tell me in a coaching situation. So maybe on the outside, maybe, they're just talking, but the bottom line is you really get a sense of where that person is.
Okay, and that's great. And I think this is good that we have kind of like a time limit, because what happens when you have a time limit, you have to, and things are just not working, you have to really take control of that time frame.
Right.
And
well, I bring it back to focus on, okay, you like this, now let's bring it back, and I try to find something in the business area that would really specifically pinpoint where a person, say, can use that passion or that concept that they're into, whatever it happens to be. So time is always an issue in organizations, but still, when you're coaching someone, you're really changing people's behaviors and their attitudes and their concept of what their world looks like. So it does take a little bit of time.
And so I got the impression, first of all, if this were our first session, then you'd let me talk kind of randomly, and then you would start learning more about me. But if we were kind of like session 10, or
probably be even the
five.
next session. I would say, okay, this is a great idea. Now, how are you? You know, what do you plan on doing with it?
Okay.
And if you tell me that, chances are good if you want to get out and reach other people, we'd say, okay, let's take a look at some of the approaches and where we could really target where your audience would be and how your approach, what it would look like, so you could get the biggest return on your investment.
Very
so we
good.
talk about that,
Very
and
good.
then the cost factor. So it would be a whole spectrum of things. Personally, I don't like to inundate a person with a whole lot of information at one time
Right.
because it's brain overload at that point, and what good would it do? So,
Okay. Well, this has been fun doing because, as you could see, once I start talking
Oh, I
about
know.
it, I could go on and on and on.
Right.
And so I needed to bring this around. And
it's back to you.
yes. So, where do you want to go as a coach? And do you happen to have a word of wisdom that we have like about a couple minutes, not even. So, a word of wisdom and your future
Boy,
goal.
I would say if what you're doing and your life isn't working and you want to make that change, be open and receptive to the possibilities. And sometimes a coach can really help you to clear out some of the thinking. Just hearing your own voice talking to another person can sometimes clear
So,
the issue.
clarification.
Yeah,
in a
so I
way.
think we're probably out of time, right?
Yes, just about. So, I
Not a problem. It's been wonderful.
but your goal?
Continue what I'm doing, get the word out. I love the training and the coaching and working individually with people. I'm in a
Okay.
perfect situation for myself.
Well, you're so friendly and open, and you're so easy to talk to.
Well, thank you.
So I think that any person that works with you would have it would be very easy to work with you. Of course, I haven't seen maybe the other side, but okay. So
Thank you.
anyway, this has been kind of a demonstration of a client and a coach. And I hope this has been informative to you. Maybe we didn't hit all the spots that maybe you might like to know. But this is Colorful Journey of Success. And the people that I have on this show are people that help other people succeed. Obviously, she is very well qualified. Now, if you have an idea, if you'd like more information about coaching, please contact me if you have someone if you'd like to be interviewed yourself. So thank you to the crew. Thank you for joining us. And I hope to see you next week. Colorful Journey, Claire Mullen. Thank you.